Ever wondered what actually happens when you type a URL in the browser? I think this is a very common query most of us have every time we type a URL in the browser. Hi, welcome back to Swera Education. And today we are going to briefly discuss what happens when you type a URL in the browser. To understand this, let's consider sweratools.in as an example. You type sweratools.in into the address bar of your browser. The browser checks the cache of a DNS record to find the corresponding IP address of sweratools. DNS or domain name system is a database that maintains the name of the website and the particular IP address it links to. Every single URL or website on the internet has its own record. The IP address belongs to the server where the sweratools web services are hosted, which we are requesting to access. For example, google.com has an IP address of the following. So if you would like, you can reach google.com by typing its IP address on your browser. Now, to find the DNS record, the browser checks 4 caches. First, checking browser cache. The browser maintains a repository of DNS records for a fixed duration for websites you have previously visited. So, it is the first place to run a DNS query. If the browser doesn't contain the record in its cache, it makes a system call to its underlying computer operating system to fetch the record, since the operating system also maintains a cache of DNS records. If that also fails, then the search continues to your router, which has its own cache of DNS records. If everything fails, then the search moves on to Internet Service Provider or ISP. It first tries in its cache. If not found, then ISP's DNS recursive search comes into picture. That means search will repeatedly continue from DNS server to another DNS server until it either finds the IP address we need or returns an error response saying it was unable to find it. So the domain name which you have entered gets converted into the correct IP address and come back to your browser. Once the browser receives the correct IP address, it will build a connection with the server that matches the IP address to transfer information. Browsers use internet protocols to build such connections. There are several different internet protocols that can be used, but TCP or Transmission Control Protocol is the most common protocol used for many types of HTTP requests. To transfer data packets between your computer and the server, it is important to have a TCP connection established. This connection is established using a process called the TCP/IP three-way handshake. This is a 3-step process where the client or your computer and the server exchange, synchronize and acknowledge message to establish a connection. The client machine sends a synchronized packet to the server over the internet, asking if it is open for new connections. If the server has open ports that can accept and initiate new connections, it will respond with an acknowledgement of the SYN packet using SYN-ACK packet. The client will receive the SYN-ACK packet from the server and will acknowledge it by sending an acknowledgement packet. Then a TCP connection is established for data transmission. After which, the browser initiates a TCP connection with the server and sends an HTTP GET request. Now, the web server passes on the request to the proper request handler, which will return an HTML response in our case. This HTML data stream response is then sent back to the browser. Now, the browser receives the HTTP response and then the browser displays the HTML content. In our case, it's the sweratools web page. The Browser displays the HTML content in phases. First, it will render the barebone HTML skeleton, then it will check the HTML tags and send out GET requests for additional elements on the web page, such as images, CSS style sheets, JavaScript files, etc. These static files are cached by the browser, so it doesn't have to fetch them again the next time you visit the page. In the end, you will see sweratools.in appearing on your browser. That's it. That is what I have it for today. If you think this video helped you, do like it and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos. Thank you.